Hold the phone. What is going on with Henry? Because honestly, it doesn't look like he's doing too well. In the Stranger Things 5 Part 2 trailer, we see Vecna glitching between 3 versions of himself. Brown suit Henry, orderly Henry, and finally full Vecna. And then Vecna's slimy, grotesque form appears to Holly, who until now has only ever known the charming brown suit Henry. When the mask slips and Vecna shows up in front of her for the first time, it's not just horrifying, it's evidence that his control is cracking. In other words, the Mind Flayer is struggling to fully suppress Henry. Let's break down why this is a problem for Vecna, what this glitching reveals about his weaknesses, and how it ties directly into the real-world attack on Max's body at the hospital. First things first, based on the trailer, Max and Holly are officially done hanging out in Vecna's off-brand Wonderland. The vibes are we need to leave immediately. We see them traveling through Vecna's memories. They're clearly searching for a way out. Some kind of door, portal, emergency exit, literally anything that doesn't involve staying in Henry's mindscape forever. Now, Max already knows one thing that works. The red mindscape is proven to be a guaranteed escape route as long as Kate Bush is playing by her body in the real world. So the current plan seems to be pretty straightforward. Find the red scape, hope Lucas still has the boombox on loop, and pray the portal opens, ideally with enough room to bring Holly along for the ride. But it seems like that plan may not even be necessary. It looks like Holly is about to discover she can open doors between dimensions herself, which would change the escape plan entirely. And the trailer gives us a big hint that she's already doing this. We see Holly back at the Wheeler house, specifically entering a memory through her own bedroom, and that's important because Vecna has never physically been there, which suggests this might actually be Holly accessing her own memories, especially when you factor in that the memory right before it looks like a school playground. Of course, Vecna catched on pretty quickly, because it doesn't take much time at all for him to realize Holly has left the Creel house, even though he's clearly been trying to keep her distracted by turning the place into a full-on kids storage facility. He's recruited multiple kids to share the space with her, including Derek, like this is some kind of interdimensional summer camp. Vecna is actually successful at obtaining the 12 kids he needs to activate his interdimensional secret plans. But once Vecna realizes Holly is out with Max, that's when things start to unravel. Speaking of Derek, he knows Mr. What's-It is actually Vecna. That means he's not going to be content with hanging out in this sunny version of Hawkins. And bullying Holly is definitely off the table now that survival is the priority. The trailer clips with Max and Holly don't show Derek, so it's unclear how long it'll take him to join their escape. It's possible he's being set up as a distraction back at the Creel house while Max and Holly make their move. Meanwhile, Henry shows up in Holly's memory, looking for her, and clearly wants to stop Max from taking her away. To ensure that, he's also positioned an attack in real life at the hospital where Max is in a coma, basically trying to remove the threat once and for all. The trailer shows Henry glitching as he confronts Holly. He starts as orderly Henry, flickers into brown suit Henry, and then his hand turns meat-colored and slimy, signaling the Vector transformation. Finally, he rounds a corner and we see him in full Vecna form. The glitching looks painful and seems to also hint at the split between the real Henry and the Vecna persona being controlled by the Mind Flayer. Vecna doesn't seem to understand that you can catch more flies with honey. At this point, he likely has all the kids he needs, the pieces behind the meat wall are in place for the master plan, and there's really nothing physically stopping him from moving forward, except he needs Holly to be in the mindscape. Having at least a somewhat cooperative relationship with Holly would make things run more smoothly. Max has already enlightened Holly about who he really is, but keeping up the facade of his brown suit persona would likely make controlling the situation easier, so it wasn't the smartest idea to show her his true form. Either he doesn't give a flying demo bat anymore, or he needs the Grime Lord to take over and not give Henry any room for ideas. Now, the glitching doesn't seem like a display of power or just a casual transition into Vecna's final form. Instead, it looks like a struggle, like it's almost painful. It seems like an attempt by the Mind Flayer to suppress the real Henry. Earlier this season, Henry has done things that are clearly counterproductive to the Mind Flayer Vecna plan. For example, he gives Holly a cassette tape and player, which could potentially be a way to escape the mindscape, and instead of presenting his gift in the Creel house, he places it in a mailbox, which Max uses later to communicate with her. Did he set this up on purpose? Max has also been able to survive and actually maneuver within the Nevada cave memory because Henry is genuinely afraid of the caves. That fear creates a blind spot, and Max has been smart enough to live inside it, which raises a real important question. How much of this activity is the Mind Flayer even aware of? And if it is aware, is it actively suppressing Henry in response? Because there's something deeply ironic happening here. Vecna, the big bad endgame villain, can't control his fear long enough to deal with his biggest obstacle, Max. Even inside the mindscape where he should have the upper hand, fear is still limiting him. And that brings us to Harry's humanity, which might end up being one of the most surprising factors this part of the season. After everything he's done, killing his family, countless others, and fully embracing the Vecna persona, no one would reasonably expect anything good to still exist under all those slimy vines. And yet, it might. If the real Henry is going to resurface in any meaningful way, he'll likely need help breaking free from the Mind Flayer's control. And that seems like it could happen in one of two ways. The first possibility is Will. Will could potentially connect to Henry through the hive mind, but that's obviously incredibly risky, considering the hive mind is controlled by the Mind Flayer itself. That kind of move could just as easily make things worse. The second possibility is Patty Newby. Patty Newby is Bob Newby's adopted sister. Patty was Henry's first love back in high school. After Henry loses control to the Mind Flayer, she's injured and sent to the hospital, while Henry is taken under Brenner's control at the lab. Patty eventually reunites with her mother all the way across the country, but most importantly, she's still alive. And if love has any power left in this story, Patty's presence could be enough to wake Henry up completely, which would make things significantly harder for the Mind Flayer to control. All of this points to one thing: Vecna isn't as in control as he thinks. Max surviving in his memories, Holly moving through places he never planned for, and Henry's humanity pushing back against the Mind Flayer all suggest the same thing: his grip is slipping. If this theory holds, the escape ahead won't come from power, but from the part of Henry the Mind Flayer can't fully suppress. If you enjoyed this breakdown, like the video, subscribe for more Stranger Things theories, and drop a comment with your take. Can Henry break free, or is Vecna already too far gone? I'll see you in the next one.